Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be Problems Are a Sign of Life. Well, I've got two emails that I'm going to go through with you. The second one's a little longer, but the guy's having a lot of challenges, and it's really obviously affecting his relationship. He lost his job, he lost his car. It caused him to change how he was showing up in the relationship. And so what we're going to go through today is, problems are just a sign of life. Shit happens, and sometimes things will be going along great, and just all kinds of crazy things will happen. Maybe you get laid off, you lose your job, you get downsized, the market changes, and it affects your business. So what we're going to do is go through is how to deal with those kinds of things. Because as a man, your ability to maintain balance and be happy in your life and also keep your relationship together is going to be dependent upon how you deal with challenges and how you show up. So before we get into the first email, I got a quote that I wrote I'd like to share with you. And it says, "Life isn't all sunshine and roses. Your ability to remain balanced and happy through difficult and challenging times will be tested. Challenges and problems are a sign of life. They are a sign that you still have work to do in this life. Life has changed. Nothing stays the same. As you progress through the seasons of your life, people and circumstances that no longer serve you or that will hinder your progress will dissolve and fall away. Let them. Never try to keep people in your life who don't want to keep you in theirs. What you lose will create a space for something new and more aligned with who you are becoming to manifest." So let's get into this first guy's email. He says, "Hey Corey, so I've been seeing this awesome girl for 9 weeks now. I did everything right and things escalated pretty quickly on her side, and I'm confident she is head over heels in love with me. Unfortunately, she isn't a U.S. citizen and she's been in her own country for the last 2 weeks. I know all about that. I dated a girl who I really fucking love. Still, even to this day, one of the greatest loves of my life. Coolest chicks I've ever met. But she lived in the UK. And so it's like I was either going to have to marry her or split up with her, and I was just at a place in my life where I wasn't ready to be married. She was going to college or going back to college to become a doctor. And so I didn't want to, she would come over and she would stay with me for about 3 months, and that was like the max that she could stay here in the States. Then she'd have to hop on a plane and go back. She'd sometimes be there for a couple of weeks or a month, and then she'd fly back over and be with me for another 2 or 3 months until she had to go back again. And obviously sometimes I would travel with her. I traveled over to Europe. We went to Paris. Paris is a great city to take a girl to. We had a wonderful time. Especially, you got a girl that's got a great body, and she was a former Miss Figure, incredible shape. And so taking a girl that you really love shopping in Paris, can you imagine all the clothes? There's so many things looked so hot on her, and it was like me playing dress up with a Barbie doll. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship like that and you're literally a 14, 15-hour plane ride away from one another, and she's going to be in college, I would have only seen her maybe every 3 or 4 months or at the end of every semester. And I was just like, I just couldn't see us staying together. And so I told her it was so hard. I told her I wanted to see other people, and unfortunately those things happen in life. And plus I was going through a difficult time. I was in the process of transitioning out of the real estate and the mortgage business and figuring out what I wanted to do with the next chapter of my life. This was literally right before I decided to become a life coach, a peak performance coach, and started working on my first book. But it's just our goals and our values were no longer aligned. It's not that we were fighting. We got along great. We never had an argument in the whole couple of years that we were together. But it's just she was moving in one direction and I was moving in another. And plus, we had the ocean to deal with. And I'd been in that situation once before when I was in my 20s. It was almost exactly 10 years later. I'm in a relationship with a really awesome woman, and I was faced with either getting married or having to split up. And I remember what it was like. And I made a promise to myself when I divorced my first wife. I was like, I will not get married again unless I am 100% certain, unless it feels right. And at least at that particular time in my life, and with what I was getting ready to go through, which I had no idea how difficult things were going to be over the next several years to figure out my new business and my new business model, and liquidate all the real estate holdings that I had, my office building, my houses, and all those things. But I decided to get out of the relationship because it didn't feel 100% right. And because I knew it's like getting a divorce is not a fun process, and I just was not in a place where I felt comfortable entering into marriage at that point. And so that's, like I said, that's why I decided to end the relationship that we had. It was really fucking hard, and it's not fun breaking up, but I'll tell you what, getting a divorce is a whole lot less fun than that. So let's get back into this guy's email. That's why it's really important because it's like the older I've gotten, I've become more and more comfortable listening to what felt right inside. And it's like, I also around that same time, I was at a place where, like, with my business partners, we've been working together and been in business together for almost 10 years at that point in our lives. And we were just kind of tired of each other. We each had our own side interests. We weren't growing together as business partners. We were kind of, both my partners had other businesses outside our business that was taking away their focus. And it was just time to move on. And it's just, that's kind of the way what happens. You get older in life, you experience things like that, whether they're careers or jobs or businesses or relationships or business partnerships. It's just as you change and you grow and you evolve into who you're going to be, it's like people that are in your life that will get in your way or that will hinder you or that don't have the same goals, same values, their outlook in life is not aligned with yours. Those relationships will dissolve, whether that's a career or a business, those also will dissolve. And it's like when those things dissolve and they disappear from your life, it creates a space where you're no longer defined by that relationship or that person, so you can be comfortable moving in to who you are. Because otherwise, if those people still stayed in your life, they'd be getting in your way. They would influence your decisions. They would influence your ability to freely move into the direction that you need to move in. Because the right people, at the end of the day, they're going to be with you through thick and thin. Whether it's friends or a girlfriend or a wife, they'll stick with you through the difficult times. But if you have a relationship that's not really solid and you go into a challenging time, it'll dissolve pretty quickly. So he says, we went on a long sightseeing vacation together in the U.S. before she left, and it was so much fun. We even left the vacation as a couple. She had brought up being a couple before the trip, but I pushed back due to her being overseas. I'm not sure if the long distance thing comes off as a little weak to her. I'm willing to forego sex, dating, etc. for months at a time for a girl I've only been dating for 9 weeks. Well, it's like back to my girlfriend from the UK. It's like things just naturally evolved with us, and we were so into each other. I mean, it was love at first sight for me, and it's like she was just as strongly attracted to me when we first met as well. And she was a good communicator, and she was a good woman. She was a good, loyal girlfriend, and she had her shit together, and she was very successful. She came from a very successful family, and she knew what she wanted, and it made things easy. It was really effortless to be in a relationship with her, and so things just kind of naturally evolved with us. And at least in the first year or so of our relationship, it really didn't matter that she was apart, because she would come over and stay with me for extended periods of time. So we were literally living together for months at a time, and then she would leave, and I wouldn't see her for a few weeks. And it's like I remember like it was yesterday, taking her to the airport. And it's like I remember, where you stop and you can't go any further. Then obviously she goes through security, and it's like so every 20 feet, she'd turn around and smile at me and wave. It's like as we're walking apart from one another, we would turn around and kind of look back and wave until obviously we couldn't see each other anymore. And it's like I fucking hated that. It's so brutal because she's there with you all the time. You take a shower together, you wake up naked together in the morning, you make love all the time. And then she's gone. And yeah, you're talking through Skype and stuff, but it's not the same. It's really tough. It's like feels like your heart gets ripped out every few months. And so it's like I know how it feels. I know what it's like. But obviously, if you really have a great, strong connection, you'll figure it out. And if your life path and your goals and where you're at and your values are aligned, you'll find a way to make it work. But it's just take your time with it. Because that will be the true test of your relationship. After several years, you're spending more and more time together and you want to be together all the time, then a marriage will be the next obvious logical thing. But, if it gets encountered in a situation where her career or her goals or her values are not aligned with yours, then it's okay. Sometimes relationships just ain't meant to be long term. You appreciate them as the gift that they are. And the older you get and the more relationships you have and the more breakups that you go through, the easier it gets to let somebody go. So he says, regardless, her wealthy friends are actually paying for me to come and stay in her country for 10 days next month as a gift to her. He says different cultures. That's a pretty nice fucking gift. He says she's been sending me super long emails every day, sharing so much of her daily life and feelings, and I actually do try to reply most every day if I can. She's reaching out to open up to me, and I want to answer her questions and let her know that I appreciate her little pictures and stories. Good job. See, what's good about this is you're letting her initiate the contact, and that's because women are going to do most of the pursuing naturally. When they feel open to you, when they feel safe and comfortable, they're going to do most of the pursuing. They want your attention more and more, and that's what she's doing. And you're being nice to her, and you're being loving, and you're appreciating her, and you're responding to it. And obviously, I'm sure sometimes it feels a little overwhelming, but that's just how women are. Because feminine energy is all about bonding, connection. I mean, remember, women are physically designed to receive us, and this is how they go about getting our attention to receive us, even if you happen to be on other continents. So it's a good sign because she's doing most of the pursuing in this particular case. And if she's doing most of the chasing and pursuing, if she's chasing you, if she's running after you, she's not dumping you. And so that gives you a lot of peace and a lot of comfort in your relationship. It's the same girlfriend, she always used to say, how come I'm always the one calling you and sending you messages? I go, because you love me so much and you miss me, and I appreciate the fact that you reach out to me and you make so much effort to make me feel loved and appreciated. And I always gave her the same kind of response because I really did love it. I loved hearing from her. It made me feel good. It made me feel loved. It made me feel like she cared about me and that she missed me, which obviously she did because I missed the shit out of her. But it's good. It's a good balance. It's a healthy balance because this feels natural to you. This feels masculine. I mean, if you look at movies from 30, 40, 50 years ago, this is typically what you would see. The woman's always the one talking about kids and marriage and settling down. The guy's always kind of trying to change the subject. He's sweet and he's loving and he kisses her and he acknowledges her, but he's always resisting her desire to nest and be together. And this is what happens when a woman falls completely head over heels in love with you. It's like they're relentless. They're relentless at trying to get you to settle down. And as long as you're loving and you're sweet and you make them feel safe and comfortable, they won't stop until eventually you throw in the towel and you marry him, or you move in together, or you take your relationship to the next level. He says she knows I'm scheduled to visit her in a month, so she knows that my feelings are clear. But at the end of the day, she's reaching out to you because it's a daily thing. Women want your attention all of the fucking time. I say this in my book. When they're in love, they want your attention constantly. And so she's seeking your attention to gain clarity about your feelings on a daily basis. So in that particular, because you're not reaching out to her, you're not calling her, you're just simply responding to her texts, her calls, her messages, her emails. She's reaching out to you to gain clarity of how you feel about her today. She's living in the moment emotionally, like all women do. So in that respect, you're doing things right. He says, I do respond to her emails in a reasonable amount of time, mostly at night before I go to bed, and I'm unsure how to keep the tension and mystery there while we are gone, especially when she's emailing and texting me every day, and I do want to reply in a reasonable time frame, usually 24 to 48 hours. And that's good, because, if she doesn't hear back from you right away, she's going to wonder, what's he doing? Has he lost interest? Does he love me as much today as he did yesterday? That's all part of your feelings being unclear to her. And then when she, of course, receives your email reply back a day or two later, then she feels your feelings are clear, she gets what she wants. But then a few hours later, she starts to wonder. And then she writes another email. That's just how it works. He says, any special tips for long distance? Well, you're actually doing really good, dude, when you don't really realize it. He says, I have an absolutely gorgeous ex-girlfriend who I really fucked up with, who has been contacting me again. She is still the hottest girl I have ever seen, and it's what sparked me to learn this material. I don't consider her long-term material anymore, and I'm not going to cheat on my current girlfriend. Good. You shouldn't. If she's a good woman and she's loyal, you don't fucking cheat on her. That should be how you live your life. That should be your truth. Like for me personally, when I'm in a committed relationship, I don't care how fucking hot the girl is or how good the pussy looks. I ain't fucking touching it. I'm not going to fuck up what I have. I wouldn't want to do anything to hurt my girlfriend or to make her feel like I'm being unloyal. You reap what you sow in life. Treat others how you want to be treated. Because if you go around, you screw around your girlfriends, eventually you're gonna attract a girl into your life who's gonna screw around and cheat on you, and you're gonna feel exactly what that feels like, and it ain't gonna be fun. He says, but I still want to keep her attraction level above a 5 just in case. Is there any trick to doing this since I'm not able to take her out on dates like she insists, other than keeping this conversation light and short? She's chasing you. She's coming after you. Just be like, hey, it's great to hear from you, and talk to her for 5 or 10 minutes. And when she says, let's get together, I say, I would absolutely love to, but I have a girlfriend. If it doesn't work out, I will definitely let you know, but I really appreciate the phone call, and I love hearing your voice. I love hearing from you. And that's pretty much all you got to say, and she'll probably keep reaching out to you. And if things don't work out long distance, then you can go and hook up with the ex-girlfriend. But at the end of the day, it's your life. I give you information so you can make an intelligent, informed decision. He says, she even called me a pussy for not wanting to cheat on my girlfriend. Well, like I said, I think you're doing great with what you're doing, and at the end of the day, you're being loyal to your girlfriend. And that's great. That's all you can do. Just keep doing what you're doing and follow the things that I talked about, and you'll be fine. So let's get into the next guy's email. This dude is really struggling. He says, hey, Corey, I believe I lost all leverage with my girlfriend of 2 years. I moved in with her, and we enjoyed a temporary live-in arrangement where I was able to help unload the burden of bills and fix things around the house. You know, doing what men do, taking care of things. As a man, this made me feel good. Then I hit a string of hard times. I lost a great job due to downsizing and layoff, and the loss of my car. You must have had a company car too. That sucks. So not only did you lose your income, you lost your job, and you lost your wheels, your transportation. He says we weren't able to enjoy going out due to the situation. Of course, she doesn't feel obligated to initiate a good time with her income. And I never believed she should, but I assumed she would sacrifice for the time being for the sake of maintaining the fun that we had. Well, to date, I'm still unemployed and I'm back in school. She used a minor disagreement to back out of our relationship. Well, I would say it's not that she used a minor disagreement to back out of your relationship. Is that obviously the fact that you were continually unemployed and she probably didn't feel like you were doing everything you could do in order to get a new job caused her to not feel safe and trust your masculine core. And obviously as we get further into the email, we'll see all the things that he was actually really doing that led to the breakup. But obviously you thinking it was your disagreement, no, that disagreement, because that's how it typically happens. A woman gets unhappy for a while, and then there's a big fight. And the big fight happens, the big disagreement happens, and she's like, I'm out of here. But that's just the event that she uses to do you in. She'd been planning this for a while because she obviously wasn't happy, and you probably weren't paying attention to the fact that her attraction level for you was dropping slowly over time. He says she stated in her mind that her mind was not on a relationship right now, and she needed to get herself together mentally and spiritually. Again, another fucking I need to get my head together. I need to figure out where I'm able to be at this point in my life. It's just BS excuse for, I've lost interest in you, I'm not as attracted to you as I once was, and I don't feel the same level of love for you, and therefore, I don't want to be committed and tied down to you. I want to keep my options open and maybe meet a new guy who I do feel something for. That's what's really going on. But it's like all women use the same fucking excuse because they're trying not to hurt your feelings, and they're hoping that you'll kind of figure out what they really mean. He says, we had an overall good mental, no arguments, and sexual relationship, even though we discussed abstaining and going about things in a godly way, at least till marriage. You're entitled to your opinions on religion and all that stuff, but fuck that. That's the way I look at it. But that's my personal opinion. I'll probably get some shit or a few nasty emails from, some of the Bible Nazis that don't like when I talk that way, but that's just the way I look at it. It's like you're naturally restraining yourself from what feels natural within inside you and adopting a belief system of usually priests and nuns or ministers who aren't in sexual relationships, who are practicing celibacy, telling other people who are actually in adult, mature relationships how to live their lives. I just don't agree with that mindset. I'm not a fan of organized religion. I was born and raised Catholic, but I don't prescribe to the belief system of the church. And I don't listen to people who don't have mature sexual relationships trying to tell me how to have an adult relationship with a woman. He says this was her way out. No job, no romance, I'd assume. Yeah, it sounds like when you lost your job, you stopped dating your wife because you're like, oh, I don't have any money. Well, you should have continued to do fun things and date, even if it was going to a lake and having a picnic together, or going to a park, or going to a museum, something that was cheap and inexpensive. He says, I felt that her timing was completely off and that this was very wrong. I broke down emotionally after holding it in, describing to her the strain that being jobless has caused me. You always got to think about doing stuff like this, because she's already dumped you because you look weak, and now you're just confirming to her that she made the right decision because you're not being a man and taking care of things and finding a new job. You're not doing everything that you could be doing. There's an article that I wrote, and you should Google, if you're looking for a job, Corey Wayne, how to get any job you want. If you apply that, you will get a new job. He says, I never wanted to allow her to see me like this, and I had maintained the household without her knowing the load I was faced with keeping things going. She mentioned that I needed to think about our living arrangements, in other words, move out, and how she never felt completely comfortable about how we were living. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're like a non-functioning man. You're a man with adrift, a guy without a purpose. You're not. She probably was looking at the fact you're probably sitting home playing video games or whatever, doing things around the house. I mean, you were busy, but you weren't taking action and solving the problem that you didn't have a job. He says, I agreed with her about the living together arrangement, but expressed that this wasn't the issue and felt that she was dumping me when I needed her to be supportive the most. She dumped you because you stopped being the man that she fell in love with. My sweet girl is a devil, he puts in big letters. He says, damn. She felt that I was dodging the issue about living together and it was not about our relationship. She's truthful there. What she's basically saying is you were not being a man and you didn't work. You weren't keeping up your end of the arrangement. You're not the same guy that I fell in love with and got into a relationship with. It's like, in essence, she became the man in the relationship and you became the homemaker. He says, of course I needed to be sure, so I got clingy, more so than ever, trying to tie loose ends before I moved out, making things worse for me. I couldn't do anything right. You know, I started cooking meals before she got off work. I changed our roles completely. Of course, I would cook occasionally before that. Something she would brag to her friends and family about, obviously, that I was cooking. Yeah, you definitely became the woman in the relationship. Did you shave your legs too? I was still trying to earn my keep, showing her that she still needed me even though I'm not working. So then you went into approval-seeking mode, which obviously doesn't work. I'm out now, so I would come by as normal to see her without calling as before. She's not your girlfriend. She broke up with you, and yet you're still pursuing her. You should walk and never look back. You need to get refocused on your purpose and your mission in life and get a job and become a self-respecting man again. Instead of running after her like a clingy, needy girl trying to get her to take you back. He says, now it's a problem and she wants her key. Yeah, because you're acting kind of like a weird, creepy stalker showing up all the time. She needs her space now. In other words, she needs space to find a new man because she can't get involved in a new relationship with you showing up at all hours of the day and night. He said, during the weeks prior to me moving out, she got totally silent, not letting me know what's going on mentally. And she's gotten worse. She's in shutdown mode now. Of course, I'm probing more, not realizing that this relationship has gone into the abyss. And she's one of those women who don't really express her emotions or communicate without pulling her teeth. But I've managed to get more than anyone else close to her has, even her family members. You mentioned this type of woman in a previous video yours. Her family is emotionally unavailable, just as you described yours, and mine is also too. My life mission was to change my course of how expression and open I'd be. She may not have adapted the same principle. She's a surface talk social bug, though, and you wouldn't know the depth or lack thereof or her ability to communicate unless you were intimately involved with her. He says, man, I couldn't tell her whether she was into my intimate pillow talk by now, how she gazed with me, or if she was totally lost in retrospect. That's why you found my work, because you were totally bamboozled by this girl and you had no idea. You couldn't make heads or tails of this situation. Like I say all the time, guys come to me not because things are going well, but because things are all jacked up, foobarred, fucked up beyond all recognition. He says, she said that no guy has ever talked to her like I do, and guess what? I'm speaking the same way as before, but opposite response. The problem is you're not acting like a man who has any value. You're running after her. You're like a needy, insecure, jobless girl instead of the man that she fell for. She doesn't realize it, though. Long story short, I backed off giving her space because I couldn't deal with the cold shoulder and the complete silence, even though she would hug me goodbye, saying she loved me after my initiation through the last few times I visited her. You're still pursuing her. He says, Superman is now Clark Kent. Corey, I don't see my employment situation picking up soon. I can't be that romantic dude taking her out on dates or even having sex. It would be so hypocritical religiously at this point. Well, you're making your own prison there, dude. Like I said, you need to Google Corey Wayne, how to get any job you want. Because now your attitude is, oh, I'm not going to be able to find a job for a while, and this is the way my life is. So now it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You get what you focus on, and what you focus on expands. So your brain is now searching for all of the reasons why you're not going to be able to find a job. That's the wrong thing you need to be focused on. You need to focus on, it's just a matter of time. Any day now I'm going to find the right opportunity. He says, she was so open to me during and after sex, and I'm confused about knowing if this is a girl who is down when the times get hard, or if she's religiously guilty, godly ashamed, or if it's a loss in romance. You stopped being the guy that you fell in love with. You stopped dating and courting her because you didn't have any money. Like I said, you could have done things that were cheap or inexpensive kinds of dates. He says, I'm okay with the abstinence, and I believe she knows it, but I feel any other dude with skills can open that doorway with this information you're sharing. That's why she wanted her space and she wanted her key back, because she wanted to move on and meet somebody new. And you're just bullshitting yourself. He says, it changes the dynamics of our relationship severely, and I know that she's enjoying things, hanging out with her sister, going to church with her sister, and they were never this close before. I've had to act as a peacemaker, Dr. Phil, between the two of them so they would not have any type of relation. Oh, it's so nice that you became her therapist. You become the gay male girlfriend and the guy that she can call to fix her garbage disposal when it breaks. Because when she has a date for a guy that she's actually sleeping with, she wants to make sure the garbage disposal works. And you're all too happy to fix it. I've dated many other women, and I've fallen in love with a few girls in my lifetime. This one I don't want to lose if at all possible. I hate to break it to you, dude, but you've already lost this girl. You just haven't admitted it yet. He says, my heart is in on this one. I mean, this is the one. You are deluding yourself, dude. My 10-year relationship before this one was easier to let go of. Same deal. No huge relationship problems. I still love her, but she's married. I spent enough time with the former to know that we were not going to make it to the altar. And this current one is my best friend's little sister. And we've been entertaining dating for years, me being a listening ear through her dating trials. She pursued making herself more available, and I felt that I knew enough about her to give us a try. See? You were unavailable because you were dating other women, and you knew her for years, and then when you became available, you gave her a chance and started dating her. She was pursuing you, and if a woman's pursuing you, she's not dumping you. But when the roles is reversed and you're pursuing her, you're going to get dumped. And that's why you got dumped. I mean, it's so predictable. If you've been watching my videos for a while, it's like the freight train. You know, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's an oncoming train, and you got run over, bro. He says, Corey, she changed overnight. It was like, well, you're the one that changed, and she just responded to how you were showing up. That's what happens when you don't show up as a man and you let your challenges diminish you. She wants a man that can handle this shit, a man that'll go out and get another job and not miss a beat. He says, it wasn't gradual, it's been a month, maybe 3 or 4 texts between the two of us. I'm texting self-help links, Dr. Phil again, probably screwing it up again, and she's replying saying thanks or I'll check it. You're pursuing her and you're looking for reasons to get in contact with her. This is not how the dynamic was when she fell for you. Because she texted me once, beating herself up emotionally, saying she knows how, as a man, I feel the need to want to fix things, and this is a problem she can only fix herself. I'm at a loss with this one. I'm afraid of time lapse and her not being able to initiate communication. Well, you're not giving her the opportunity to because you keep running after her. She does this with everybody, including family, so I'm no exception. Again, you're bullshitting yourself and you're not admitting and taking any responsibility for the fact that you drove this girl away with your weak behavior. She hates dealing with confrontation and it's awkward for her. All women hate confrontation. They'll avoid it at all costs. She goes for the easy way, and she surprisingly apologized to me for getting aggravated with me or our last encounter. She never apologized even though we hadn't done so, or she hadn't done so with me, but resolving family issues. While I believe your logic applies in this case, this waiting on her to call will be a miracle whether it will be a positive or negative thing to do. She can't mend gaps. I'll probably lose leverage setting up an initiative appearing to need her. If you keep chasing her, dude, what is going to happen, you're going to eventually find out that she's fucking some other guy and dating some other guy, and then you're really going to be heartbroken. What you need to do with her is nothing. You need to focus on your purpose and your mission in life and find a new job. That needs to be your sole focus and not running around trying to be this girl's fucking therapist because you're not going to get anywhere with that bullshit weak behavior. And when she reaches out to you, assume she wants to see you. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Forget about all those religious bullshit excuses there, dude. If you want to get this girl back, you need to start being the guy that she was chasing and pursuing before. She dumped you. She unilaterally changed the terms of your relationship. And the only way you're going to get her back is if it's her idea. When she reaches out, hey babe, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? Make a date. Invite her over to your place to make dinner together. Hang out, have fun, hook up. That's what you need to do. And then when she leaves, let her call you a few days or a week or two after that. She has to come back to you at her own pace. This way it will be her idea. That way you're a challenge. She has to pursue you. She has to make the effort. And otherwise you need to walk and never look back. Because if you don't let her come back to you, you're going to end up being the emotional tampon while she's sleeping with some other dude. And I know that's not what you want. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to go to my website and book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by clicking the products tab at the top of your screen. And I will talk to you soon.